रूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादां सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दीनतारणं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। आराध्यो भगवान् व्रजेशतनयस्तद्धाम वृन्दावनं रम्या काचिदुपासना व्रजवधू वर्गेण या कल्पिता। श्रीमद्भागवतं प्रमाणममलं प्रेमापुमर्थो महान् श्रीचैतन्य महाप्रभोर्मतमिदं तत्रादर न परः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Today is the day that is popularly known as Guru Purnima, also known as Vyasa Purnima. It is generally believed in the community at large that this is the appearance day of Srila Vyasa Deva, and hence it is called Vyasa Purnima also. However, in the Gaudiya Sampradaya we believe the appearance day of Vyasa is on another day. It is sometime in Vasant, probably Vasant Purnima if I am not mistaken. But in any case, because this is the general belief and people in general accept this as the appearance day of Vyas, so it is called Vyasa Purnima. In any case, regardless of the controversy over the actual date of birth of Vyasadeva, it is also appropriate to connect the Guru Purnima to Vyasadeva, because Vyasadeva is the original Guru in the human society. Of course, ultimately the original Guru is Lord Krishna himself, but he transmits that knowledge through various paramparas, and that the paramparas may be started even in the higher planets, like we have Brahma who starts a parampara, Lord Shiva starts a parampara, Lakshmi Devi starts a parampara, the four Kumaras start a parampara, but they are not living here in our midst in human society. But when that knowledge reaches human society, then that is, you could say, the beginning of the Guru Parampara on earth, not the Guru Parampara overall, but just on the earth. So because Vyasadeva, being a disciple of Narad Muni, and Vyasadeva lived on the earth planet. Narad Muni is of course a traveling spaceman. He travels all over the universe, even goes to Vaikuntha. So he is not truly speaking a resident of the earth planet. So in that sense, to connect or identify this Tithi or this Guru Purnima with Vyasa Deva is appropriate. It is also appropriate because Vyasa Deva is the compiler of the Vedas. He compiled the Vedic knowledge and edited it, and eventually had it put in writing, and he also divided the Vedic knowledge into 4 branches and distributed it through his 4 primary disciples. I think it Vaishampayana, Jaimini, Paila and Sumantu, if I remember right. So that is what the Bhagavatam says. And then through these 4, then the branches of the Vedic knowledge were spread everywhere. Now, the Vedic knowledge was one. There was only one Veda before Vyasadeva came along. But Vyasadeva realized that there was a need to distribute the Vedas in different categories for various reasons, and each of the Vedas, they specialized in different branches of knowledge. And then these disciples of Vyasadeva, they became professors of that branch of knowledge associated with that particular Veda. That is the verdict of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Vyasadeva therefore compiled it, although it was all one Veda, but he actually oversaw the division of that one Veda into these 4 broad divisions. And not only are there 4 Vedas, but associated with these Vedas are various associated and subsidiary texts. Like each Veda will have associated Upanishads, the Aranyakas, and so on, Brahmanas. There are different categories of these scriptures. So they are associated with each Veda. So Vedavyas appointed each of his disciples to oversee that group of scriptures and that branch of knowledge. So in that sense you can say he is the giver of Shastras, he is the giver of the Veda to the human society. Although Vedas ultimately emanate from the breathing of Lord Narayan, they come from the Supreme Lord himself, and they are disseminated in human society through different channels. So they are passed on through the parampara in various ways at different times. So ultimately it comes to Brahma, and then Brahma transmits it further into the universe, and eventually it comes into the human society. So therefore Vyasadeva is the one who has actually brought the Vedas down to the earth planet and made sure it was transmitted in or divided into these 4 Vedas. Even before Vyasadeva, of course, the Vedas were there. Vyasadeva did this distribution of the Vedas and compilation at the end of Dwapar Yuga. So does it mean that before the Dwapar Yuga the Vedas were not there? Certainly they were there, but they existed in undivided form, firstly, and secondly they were transmitted only by oral transmission. Oral transmission means by word of mouth only. The Guru spoke, the disciple listened, and then he eventually, when he grew up, he spoke, his disciple listened. So it is oral, O-R-A-L transmission, and that oral transmission was accompanied by oral reception, A-U-R-A-L, connected to the ears. Reception means to receive. So oral transmission means you transmit by means of your mouth, your words that emanate from the mouth. And then oral reception means that somebody is there to receive that spoken word. So this is the Guru Shishya Parampara. So by oral transmission and oral reception, the Vedic knowledge has been transmitted from generation after generation for millennia. not only in this Divya Yuga or this Chatur Yuga, but from eternity, time immemorial, this has been the method. And in every Chatur Yuga, there is one Veda Vyas. Vyas actually means the compiler or the editor. So he is called Vyasa Deva, or that divine personality who is synonymous with the Vedas, or Veda Vyas because he is the compiler or the editor of the Vedas. So in one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus, and the lifespan of each Manu is called a Manvantara. And in each Manvantara, there are 14 Manus, 14, yes, 14, in each day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus, and in each Manu, there are 71, roughly between 70 to 71 Chatur Yugas. So each of these Chatur Yugas has a Vyasa Deva, because at the end of the Treta Yuga and the Dwapar Yuga, when Kali Yuga is about to begin, there is a need to divide the Vedas and to transmit it and eventually to put it in written format. So in this Manvantara of Vaivasvata Manu, the 7th Manvantara in this day of Brahma, we have, this is the 28th Chatur Yuga, which means that in this day of Brahma, our Vyasadeva, whose picture we are seeing here, is the 28th Vyasadeva. So there have been 27 Vyasadevas before him in this day of Brahma. And in all the previous days of Brahma, with each Manvantara and each Chatur Yuga, there has been one Vyasadeva. So just like the demigods, they are different personalities at different times. So similarly, Vyasadeva also is a different jiva at different times. But there is one verse from the Vayu Puran, I think it's Vayu Puran, which explains that in this age, Lord Vishnu himself becomes Vyasadeva. That he is not just a jiva, but he is actually the Supreme Lord who has become Vyasadeva. So then Vyasadeva goes on to transmit the Vedic knowledge, and then in his Prakat Leela as a sage who wanders the earth, he also has an important role to play in the Mahabharata. He is born as the son of Parashar Muni and Satyavati, also called the Matsyagandha. Matsyagandha because she was the daughter of a fisherman, and because she was dealing with fish all the time, her body had the odor of fish, fishy odor. So she was called Matsyagandha also. So through Parashar Muni, she begot Vyasadeva. Because that happened in the middle of an island, on an island in the middle of a river. That island was created by Vyasadeva, by Parashar Muni, by his mystic powers. So therefore, the Vyasadeva who was born in this particular Chatur Yuga is also called Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. Krishna because he is dark complexioned, and Dvaipayana because he was born from the Dvipa. Dvip means an island. So he was born on this island, so he is also called Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas, to identify him as the Vyas of this particular Chatur Yuga. So the different personalities can have different names to specify which Vyas he is. So in this way, Vyasadeva then began his pastimes here. And we all know his pastimes in the Mahabharata. We don't have time today to talk about how Pandu and Dhritarashtra and Vidura were born, but that was through the agency of Vyasadeva. Vyasa Deva also played an important role in training and teaching Vidura, Vyas and Dhritarashtra. Not Vidura, Pandu and Dhritarashtra. So he was also like their guru in many ways. Vidura Vyas is also known famously for having dictated the Mahabharata to Lord Ganesh, and that happened, it is said, in Badrik Ashram, in Vyasa Gufa. It is also said that he compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam at some place. Some say it happened at Somatirtha in Vrajabhumi. Some say different things. So there are differing opinions amongst scholars about not only the time of Vyasa's birth but also the place, and also the places where he performed his different pastimes like compiling the Bhagavatam and so on. In any case, the important thing is that the Bhagavatam is with us, the Vedic knowledge is with us. So Vyasadev's contribution to human society has been enormous, and therefore this day is very appropriately remembered in connection with him. So Guru Purnima is fundamentally Vyasa Purnima. It is connected to Vyasadeva. Whether or not Vyas actually appeared is another matter, but since it is the belief of people in general, this day is observed like that. As followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this day of Guru Purnima also has another important significance, because it is the day that Srila Sanatan Goswami disappeared from this world. Sanatan Goswami was one of the 6 main followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one of the 6 Goswamis, and he spent more than 45 years in Vrajabhumi. And he resided there, he performed his bhajan there, he also performed his austerities like going around Govardhan hill every day, and he did the longer parikrama, which was a practice at that time. Nowadays the path of parikrama that we follow is the shorter path, but in those days they would do the longer parikrama, and they would cover many other spots which we don't cover today. So Sanatan Goswami did the longer parikrama every single day, and he would offer obeisances to Govardhan and the Vaishnavas thousands of times every day. And he continued doing this even till a ripe old age. And he was very, very popular with the Brajavasis because he had lived there for so many decades. He saw many generations of Brajavasis being born, growing, and getting old. And he used to go for bhiksha, for gathering alms to the homes of the Brajavasis, and they would happily give him some milk or some roti or some flour or something, and he would happily accept that and honor that. And he became so close to the families of the Brajavasis that they would consult him for everything. Even when there was a family problem in some home, they would come to Sanatan Goswami for resolution of the conflict or the difference of opinion. Sometimes he would guide them even when it came to agricultural matters and about crops and so on and so forth. And what to speak of other things which are spiritual directly in nature. He had great regard for the Vrajavasis because they were born in the land of Lord Krishna, and in turn the Vrajavasis had great regard and affection for Sanatan Goswami. So they considered him their guru. So for Vrajavasis, Guru Purnima is in honor of Sanatan Goswami, because this was his disappearance day. So when Sanatan Goswami departed from this world, the Vrajavasis were so emotionally affected by it. Out of gratitude, they began to observe this day as the Guru Purnima because he was their Guru. And till today, this is observed very widely in Braj. And this is one of the few days where you will find the greatest crowd of people in the Govardhan Parikrama. There are a few other days here and there also where the crowd is very huge. But probably the Guru Purnima is the day when the crowd is the maximum. And this is all in honor of Sanatan Goswami. So he was so much a part of the life of the Vrajavasis that they could not conceive of life without him. He lived there a very austere life. He lived at various places. He lived sometimes in Vrindavan at the Dwadasha Aditya Tila, the place where the Madan Mohan temple exists today. And his bhajan kutir is still there. And a little below the hill is his samadhi that is also there today. And whenever we all go as devotees to Vrindavan, we certainly visit these two places and remember and glorify Srila Sanatan Goswami. Sometimes he also stayed in Ramanareti in Gokul, and sometimes he also stayed in Radhakund and Govardhan. Sometimes at Radhakund, and sometimes he would stay at Manasi Ganga, Chakleshwar Tirtha. He would stay there. So he would stay at different spots all over Braj. And in this way, he performed his austerities. Like the other Goswamis, he barely slept, maybe for 1 or 2 hours a day, and that would also be under a tree or something like that. They would barely eat, and his time, his day and night was spent in fulfilling the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had given 4 primary instructions to Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis, and those instructions were also transmitted to the other Goswamis. Firstly, he said, you should uncover the lost pastime places of Lord Krishna in Vrindavan, the Leela Sthalis of Vrindavan. So wherever they found certain pastime places, they would announce it to the world, and then it was set up, some temple or some particular monument was set up there, and that place became popular for that pastime. So by their deep realizations, Rup Sanatan Goswamis, they understood which pastimes of the Lord happened at which place, and they would declare it to the Brajavasis, and in this way they followed this instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The second instruction that he gave, that Mahaprabhu gave to Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis, was that they should establish temples and the worship of the deity in the temples. So Sanatan Goswami established the Madan Mohan temple, which was actually the first temple in Braj. And Rupa Goswami established which temple? Govindaji temple. And all the other acharyas also established some of the other temple. Jiva Goswami established the Radha Damodar temple. The Damodar deity was gifted to him by Rupa Goswami. And some say that the deity of Damodar was personally carved by Rupa Goswami with his own hands and given to Jiva Goswami. So in any case, this instruction of Mahaprabhu that he should start make temples and install the facility for worship of the deity was also followed by Sanatan Goswami. The third thing he told him was that you should write a guidebook for devotees on how they should live and how they should practice Krishna consciousness. So Sanatan Goswami wrote the Hari Bhakti Vilas, which is like a compendium, like an encyclopedia of how devotees should follow devotional service and how they should live their life. And till today, it is very difficult, almost impossible for everyone to follow Hari Bhakti Vilas. There is probably no mutt or no part of the Gaudiya Sampradaya that is able to follow the entire Hari Bhakti Vilas, because there are so many instructions on so many different matters, and the information is drawn from so many shastras. Sometimes the rules are so strong that it is not really practical or possible for devotees to follow. So devotees, the acharyas, therefore recommend some condensed or essential version of the Hari Bhakti Vilas. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, for example, then compiled the Pancharatra Pradeepa, which is our guidebook in ISKCON also for deity worship standards. So in any case, he wrote that book, and he also established other forms of standards of behavior, achar, like an achara samhita, code of conduct. And then finally he also told him to extract from all the Vedic scriptures those teachings that establish the conclusions of all the Vedas as being devotional service or bhakti. So therefore Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, along with the others, they also wrote books, the Bhakti Shastra. They studied all the books. They were great scholars from the very beginning. Even before they met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were great scholars. And then Sanatan Goswami wrote many nice books apart from Hari Bhakti Vilas, like the Brihat Bhagavatamrita, Vaishnava Toshani, etc. Rupa Goswami also wrote many books. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Sanatan Goswami was empowered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to speak on various topics connected to the rasa of the pastimes of the Lord. And Sanatan Goswami especially is important for us as Gaudiya devotees, because he is our Sambandha Acharya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught that there are 3 steps to understand Vedic knowledge: Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojana. Sambandha is to understand the connection of the jiva with the Lord, the jiva with the material world, and the material world with the Supreme Lord. So the connection of the jiva to these two is understood in the bound state and also in the liberated state. So all this knowledge, vast knowledge together, is called Sambandha Gyan, and when it is applied in practice, it is Abhidheya, and ultimately the fruit of that is Prayojana. So the Acharya for Sambandha Gyan is Sanatan Goswami, and the deity for Sambandha Gyan is Madan Mohan. And then the next stage was Abhidheya. So Abhidheya, who is the Abhidheya Acharya? Rupa Goswami. And who are his deities? Govindaji, Govindadev. So Govindadev is the deity for Abhidheya. And finally there is Prayojana Tattva, the ultimate goal of Krishna consciousness. And who is the Prayojana Acharya? Raghunath Das Goswami. And what is his deity's name? Gopinath. So Gopinath is the presiding deity for Prayojana. Govindadev is the presiding deity for Abhidheya, and Madan Mohan is the presiding deity for Sambandha Gyan. And Madan Mohan is the worshipable deity of Sanatan Goswami, who is the Sambandha Acharya. Rupa Goswami is the Abhidheya Acharya, and Raghunath Das Goswami is the Prayojana Acharya. Initially, Sanatan Goswami would carry Madan Mohan in a cloth bag and hang it around his neck, much like we carry our bead bag. And every time he would rest for the night under a tree, he would hang that bag on one of the branches of the tree, and then he would rest. And next day he would again go for parikrama, and he would eventually at some point go for bhiksha, madhukari. And then he would feed Madan Mohan also. Radharani was not there at that time, only Madan Mohan deity. Radharani came much later by the mercy of Janava Mata, when the Madan Mohan temple was already established. So he would get some flour, and then he would make it into some kind of flour balls, and then he would throw it on hot burning charcoal, and he would make what in North India you call bati. Anyone from Rajasthan here? You know, bati is a famous Rajasthani dish, dal bati. People know it very well. So he would make these hard things, and they didn't have salt also, because where would he get salt? So he got a little flour, and he would make it into mix some Jamuna water, make it into some ball, and then put it on burning charcoal, and in this way he got these flour balls, which batis, and then he would offer to Madan Mohan, and then he would eat. So there are many pastimes about this. Of course, we won't go into all that now. How Madan Mohan wanted salt, and then Sanatan Goswami says, tomorrow you'll ask for sugar, you'll ask for something else. I can't, I'm a mendicant. You have to be content with what I can offer you. Whatever comes to me by bhiksha, I'll only give that to you. So anyway, Sanatan Goswami continued his service, and one day, of course, since Madan Mohan wanted a temple, so he had to arrange it himself, because Sanatan Goswami was not interested in management and all of these things. And he was too busy writing scriptures and walking, doing his parikramas, talking to the Brajbasis. So eventually, you all know the story of how the Madan Mohan temple came about. There was a pious businessman called Ramdas Kapoor from Amritsar, who was going down to Agra to sell his produce, and somehow his boat got stuck in the Yamuna, and he came to Sanatan Goswami. He was guided there. Sanatan Goswami, then somehow he said, pray to Gopinath, pray to Madan Mohan, and he prayed, and there was a gust of wind, the boat was released, and out of gratitude, when the merchant went to Agra, he sold his goods, he made a huge profit. He came back and gave the entire profit to Sanatan Goswami, who said, I am a renounced monk, what do I need all this for? He said, but you can build a temple for Govinda Dev, for Madan Mohan. That is how the temple was built with red sandstone. So Sanatan Goswami performed many pastimes in Braj, and what to speak of one part lecture, but even one full lecture is insufficient. It needs so many lectures to talk about the glories of Sanatan Goswami and also his dealings with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So today is the disappearance day of Sanatan Goswami. He passed away from this world at a ripe old age, and he is known as Lavanga Manjari amongst the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. I think Lavang Manjari serves Vishakha, I think, if I am not mistaken. So Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manjari. So in this way, Sanatan Goswami's contributions to our sampradaya and to the world are very enormous, very significant. Today is his disappearance day, therefore we also chanted his pranam mantra today. Today also is the disappearance day of Srila Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and I don't remember whether it was one day ahead, one day before, or on the same day, but today it is being celebrated in Mayapur, so I presume it is on this day. He passed away In America, for a devotee of the Lord, it doesn't matter where one passes away, because a devotee is destined to be at the lotus feet of Krishna always. So this is an important principle. For normal people, there is condition of deshakala, or when you pass away and where you pass away, etc. Of course, if somebody passes away in Braj, it's glorious. Somebody passes away on an auspicious day, it is glorious. But ultimately, it is Krishna who takes away and gives a further destination to the departed soul. So for a devotee of the Lord who is in the service of the Lord, constantly engaged, wherever he may pass away from this world, he will be protected by Krishna. It is all auspicious. As the appearance of the devotee of the Lord are auspicious, his disappearance is also auspicious. So Srila Bhakti Charu Maharaj was such an important, inseparable part of ISKCON. It is almost hard to believe that he is no more with us. His departure was a great shock to all the devotees. And devotees are in his memory today performing many programs all over the country and also outside. So he rendered yeoman's service to ISKCON. He joined in Germany when he was a student, and Prabhupada, understanding to him to be an educated Bengali boy at that time, immediately gave him a lifetime's instructions. And Bhakti Charu Maharaj always points this out, that in my first meeting, Prabhupada told me that you have given many lives for Maya, and give this one life for Krishna. So then he was so inspired that he joined as a brahmachari, and very soon he got sannyas also from Srila Prabhupada. And because he knew the Bengali language, being a Bengali himself, he translated the Chaitanya Charitamrita into English, and he rather edited, he made into Bengali, I beg your pardon, Prabhupada's translations. Prabhupada commented upon it and wrote translations and purports in English, and then Srila Bhakti Charu Maharaj, he translated the translations and the purport into Bengali language. Very meticulously done. So that has been one of his magnum opuses. He is also known for his Vaishnava culture, his Vaishnava etiquette, the way he would host devotees and take care of them, the way he would feed them. He was an excellent cook himself and would cook many, many wonderful dishes for the Lord. He was also known for his singing of melodious bhajans, kirtans. He was also known for his nice classes, which are also devotional and scholarly at the same time. He was also involved in many activities at a leadership level in ISKCON. In very short time, he founded the Ujjain temple, which is a grand temple, and he has many, many disciples and followers all over the world, and everywhere devotees are remembering him today for his glories and for his wonderful contributions to this movement. Today is also the day when Chaturmaas begins in our calendar. It will start from tomorrow, the Pratipada, whenever the Tithi starts. And in the first month, we don't take green leafy vegetables. And there are 4 things that are prohibited in these 4 months, and we should try to follow that. Other rules of Chaturmasya are practically impossible to follow. So, but at least follow these 4 minimum. And if at all you want to follow Chaturmaas in all seriousness, just simplify the diet and do more devotional service and more hearing and chanting of the Lord. So the Chaturmaas is the period which is considered holy. It also contains the Kartik month, the 3rd month. And It is a time when traditionally sannyasis did not travel. They stayed at one place, and that tradition is followed by many sannyasis of some mutts even today. So anyway, these are the different occasions that we can think of today. Guru Purnima, the glories of Vyasa Deva, Srila Sanatan Goswami's disappearance day, Srila Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj's disappearance day, and also the beginning of Chaturmaas. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol. Srila Sanatan Goswami Pad ki jai, Srila Vyasa Deva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.